Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video, sort of just giving you guys sort of a little sneak peek and a little update on the ACE project that I am working on. So if you haven't watched the first video that I put up a couple of days ago, you'll know that I am making a 3D platformer that's heavily inspired by Spyro, and pretty much will try to implement everything that I loved about 3D platforming in general. And I didn't go too much into detail about that, but there is something that I wanted to discuss regarding the 3D platformer. I know that the 3D platformer is going to take some time to develop, especially when it comes to making the assets for it, animating it, as I am technically a solo dev. I do have some friends that have offered to help me, which I do appreciate, so I'm hoping that I can get things going with that. Majority of the coding and everything is still going to be mostly handled by me. The thing that I wanted to show off wasn't more so this platformer, but I decided to do something with the 3D platformer, and that's why I'm showing the 3D platformer right now, because as I was developing this, I was like, hold on, I could do something else with this. What I decided to do was, you can see that I am working on a 2D project as well, and essentially what I've done is I've just taken everything that I'm doing with the 3D project and making a short little 2D project out of it. This will be taking some more priority over the 3D platform because I want to put this out as like a sort of, not really a prequel kind of thing to the game that you're leading up to, but this game will have some things in it story-wise that sort of foreshadow what the main 3D platformer game is about. And I've been working on this from literally morning to night. Like, I literally stayed up until like almost 1 o'clock last night just working on a few things for it, and this has just been a grind that I've been doing. So like, since the other day when I was working with the 3D platformer, 3 days later, 4 days later or so, I've gone in and I've made it a completely separate thing to the 3D platformer, and just reusing some assets from it, as well as making new assets, as you can see in the level design here. And I'll just go ahead and show it. I'm really proud with what I've came up with so far, and I can't wait for everyone to be able to see more. I'm not going to show too much of it because it's obviously not done, but we do have a few mechanics here, like this cool little thing that I figured out how to do. So I'm gonna try and implement more variations to her idle animations. I also worked in a way to get facial animation to work through texture swapping when doing animations as well. So that was a really cool thing to put together. A lot of the stuff that you'll find in the 3D game are gonna be kind of present in here, but not as present. This game is gonna take inspiration from Donkey Kong Country, the 2D Crash Bandicoot games, but mostly the inspiration comes from DuckTales, and the reason why is because I have a mechanic where Ace can bounce on her tail. Whether this is going to be more of a Metroidvania or a traditional 2D platformer, I'm not entirely certain yet, but I have been working on certain mechanics that I think I want to put into this game, and this is actually the first stage that you're going to be looking at, a very early preview of it. I'm still designing it. So aside from the bouncing and whatnot, you also have the HUD, and as you can see, we have diamonds that you're going to be collecting, and you also have 3 letters to collect as well that spell out Ace. So here you can see there are some bubbles floating in the more of the foreground area. They're spawning in, they're floating up, and the idea that I had for this was much akin to the idea of how bubbles work in Hydro City in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So whenever you jump into one of these bubbles, you see Ace gets trapped in it, she does a little animation, and then eventually it'll pop, and you'll be able to just be able to move it. It's supposed to be able to help you get through certain areas. I'm gonna find out more ways of making it more interesting, maybe some spikes or something like that, that are like going up against the edge of something could pop it, or maybe it'll bounce it in the other direction. And then over here we have another cloud in the foreground, and the cloud can be used as a bouncy item. I'm gonna have to work with the camera to make sure that it, you know, functions properly following Ace, because sometimes with these things it doesn't really work. And then obviously I have the death plane enabled as well. Don't think that bounce was supposed to happen, so I'm gonna have to look into seeing what was causing that. But aside from that, and I can already see the debugger throwing some errors, I think it has something to do with the collision masks that I have for some of these objects, because it has been throwing some errors for that. But I mean, it's been working, so I'm not going to complain about it too much right now. I'll worry about optimization later. So that's basically where I'm at right now with the development of the game. 3D platformer is still being worked on in the background, but this is going to take more of a larger focus going forward. For now, it's going to be a small game. It's not going to be anything too long. I'm hoping to get it out, I don't know, sometime next year, maybe. Hopefully, sometime next year. This is just a small little project that I thought I'd put together because it would definitely help out with the 3D platformer, and potentially, if it does go out next year and sells well enough, then that'll be even more of a reason to put the funds back into the 3D platformer. Right now, it's just aimed to go up on Steam and PC everywhere. That's just the small little update that I want to give you guys on how development is going with this project. Again, if you want to support this project, be sure to subscribe, comment down below what you think of it, share it around, and hopefully you'll stick around for more of these like little one-off devlogs. I'm not going to go too into detail again because there's not a lot to show off. As time goes on, I'll likely start making more videos, and if this is something that you're interested in supporting, feel free to join the channel membership. I don't know, I'll figure out something. Just that way, you know, we'll have like a way to give people that are wanting to help support this game more behind the scenes looks into how things are being done. So until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.